So here we go, your first pre-final of the 2023 Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup. Grid is as follows for Minimax. Jacob Ashcroft, unstoppable so far this weekend, will once again line up on pole position. Denny Babicek will be alongside him once again on the front row. Felipe Reyes and Cole Denham will be on row 2. Nikita Lubimov and defending Winter Cup champion Albert Friend will be on row 3. Finley Lines and Jeremy Roivers will be on row 4 with Charles Kitely and Afonso Lopez rounding out the top 10. And good to see Sean Butcher, last year's Euro Trophy senior Rotax, wishing everyone at KR Sport the very best of luck. Good to hear from you, Sean. Hope Australia's treating you well at the minute. Rounding out the top 20, it's Jensen Chalk, Boris Verhaag, Oliver Majewski, Tom Reed, Rory Armstrong, Shibazaki Mikoto, João Pereira, Isaac Barker, Ethan Griffiths and Sam Mott. Daniel Minto, Hugo Fuentes, Iago Lempen from Peru, Sigurd Stubberud from Denmark, Jack Freeman, Daniel Ferreira, Max Gilman, Kieran Stewart, Unto Olavi Lakonen and South Korea's Min Jae Kim rounding out the top 30. Completing the 34-strong grid, it's Ryan Gandor, Nathan Kappen, Amelie Davey and Francisco Lopez. So we up the ante, folks. It was 7 minutes plus an additional lap each race yesterday for the heats. Now, more of a strategy comes into play with 11 minutes now set on the timer, plus 1 additional lap. So the drivers now into formation ahead of the start lights going out. Ashcroft on pole, Babicek alongside. Out of the final turn, revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are our first time, here we go. As the drivers make their way down in towards turn number 1, Ashcroft leads the way. As they go through into turns 2 and 3, up the hill through 4, to the next left-hander at 5. All trying their very best to keep it on the black stuff. 3 wide coming out of turn number 6, around about 5th to 7th position. 2 wide going through at the top of the hill at turn 8. Felipe Reyes is now in 2nd position. Denny Babicek down in 6th. And it's the pairing of Nikita Lubimov and Albert Friend that now are in the top 4. Finley Lines in 5th. Then it's Babicek. Then looks to be Cole Denham that rounds out the top 7. Plenty of overtaking, nearly 3 wide. Going through turn 16, Boris Verhaag looking to make some moves up the order as well. But after lap 1, it's Jacob Ashcroft that leads from Felipe Reyes. The gap between them nearly 0.3 of a second. Albert Friend now ahead of Lubimov up into P3. Max Gilman and Min Jae Kim have made their way up the order. And now Nikita Lubimov now gets the position back from Finley Lines. As all, that was a bit close there for Denny Babicek, trying to go through on turn 7 on the 194 from Dan Holland Racing. Cole Denham right behind the 115 as they go back down the hill. And our first penalty of the race has been issued. The 121, Jeremy Roivers has just been hit with the 3-second time penalty for 2 wheels outside of the tram lines. But Finley Lines being closed in on by Denny Babicek. Babicek tried to look to the inside. And Cole Denham is pretty much there or thereabouts. Babicek now pulls the trigger, gets past Finley Lines. So does Cole Denham in the 162. Charles Kitely in the 164 is not that far behind them in 8th position. As Babicek, Denham and Lines are literally inseparable going through turns 1, 2 and 3. And now into lap number 3 of this race, and Ashcroft has been very much calm and cool all the way through taking pole position in time qualifying and through all 3 heats where no one has gotten close to the youngster from Weston-super-Mare in the United Kingdom. But keep your eyes on the 3 behind him. Felipe Perez, Albert Friend and Nikita Lubimov are trying to close down on the 122 from Dan Holland Racing. Aslan Pacheco giving his support for Denny Babicek, who currently sits in 5th position. Both he and Cole Denham have pulled away from Finley Lines. Rory Armstrong has done a very good job so far. The youngster from Downpatrick, County Down, now up into 9th place and climbing. Half a second nearly separates 1st and 2nd position. So Ashcroft is starting to pull away. Cole Denham has the fastest lap in the pocket. 1 minute 8.094. As the youngster in the 162 currently occupies 6th position. Some battles a little bit further down the order, including the likes of Isaac Barker. Daniel Minto's managed to get his way up a little bit further through the order. He currently sits in 20th position behind Jeremy Roivers. But Ashcroft has definitely kept his calm and is controlling proceedings. But a little bit further up the order, drivers are still making their moves, including Jensen Chalk. Boris Verhaag looks up the inside of the 136 of the UK's Tom Reed and gets the switch back through turn 7. And that was the place where we did see yesterday in one of the heats that Boris Verhaag put 2 wheels on the grass going round the outside of Charles Kitely, and the Dutchman ended up backwards. Albert Friend, in the meantime, has now gotten up into 2nd position, has got through on Felipe Perez from the Netherlands, and now will start to push. He's got to start bringing the train with him. AMU Motorsport cheering for Jacob Ashcroft at the moment. And Albert Friend trying to keep himself ahead of Felipe Perez. If he can start pulling those drivers along with him, there are another 3 of them. Felipe Perez, Nikita Lubimov, and Denny Babicek. We're over the halfway point of the race. Looks like there was a black and white flag for the 119. And that is Daniel Minto. So the gap has started to extend as Cole Denham still holds the fastest lap, but both Jacob Ashcroft and Albert Friend were lapping within 0.02 of each other. The gap now 0.88 of a second. As time of the timer on the pre-final is starting to count down. And remember, folks, that the official results from the pre-final determines the grid for the final this afternoon. Albert Friend still lapping pretty much the same as Jacob Ashcroft. Ashcroft knows exactly what he has to do, doesn't have to over-pressurise himself, just keep it calm, cool and collected. I know his dad Barry is probably chomping his fingernails to the quick. As now Denny Babicek has got through on Nikita Lubimov. Up to fourth goes the Czech Republic driver. And for Kian de Brandt, the DD2 and the DD2 race this morning will take place at 12:20. For those wondering, the timetable is in the description for the live stream. Now, those are the current times, but now, keeping an eye on what's happening a little bit further back, Jensen Chalk and Finlay Lines are in the thick of the action, round towards the bottom part of the top 10. And now we're getting a notification on the digi flag. The 117 gets a 5-second time penalty. So that is going to be South Korea's Min-jae Kim down in 29th. As Albert Friend is still trying to close in the gap to Jacob Ashcroft. But at the moment that gap looks to be extending. The best part of nearly a second now between the two Brits. And Min-jae Kim gets a 5-second time penalty for pushing. But with 2 minutes still on the timer to go. Ashcroft pretty much looks unassailable at this point. And the gap now extends to just a fraction over a second. So Felipe Reyes looking to try and see if he can put himself on the front row for the final this afternoon. But he's got an obstacle in his way, and that is the 191 of Strawberry Racing's Albert Friend. Denny Babacek and Nikita Lubimov running in tandem as well with regards to fourth and fifth, respectively. Cole Denham holding on to sixth at the minute. A little bit further back, Charles Kitely and Finlay Lines are seventh and eighth. Then it's Jensen Chalk and Rory Armstrong who round out the top 10. We're going to go on to the penultimate lap of this race. Lap 10 with 40 seconds on the clock still to go. Albert Friend has taken a small fraction out of the lead from Jacob Ashcroft. The 10 seconds on the timer remains. Ashcroft leads the field down towards turn number 12. Denny Babacek still has Nikita Lubimov in close proximity from the rear bumper. Sometimes it's about just getting through this race and then putting it all on the line for the final later on. Timer has expired. And this time around, Jacob Ashcroft once again, for what will be the fourth race in succession, will be the first driver to see the last lap board. 1.58 kilometres to negotiate before the checkered flag is waved for the second time today. Unfortunately, it looks like we have had a retirement in the form of Kieran Stewart. It's not been a good weekend, unfortunately, for the number 116 representing the United Kingdom. But the final lap is coming to its inevitable conclusion. Albert Friend has been closing the gap slowly but surely. And last time around, put in the fastest lap, a 1 minute 8.059. But just the back straightaway to go, and then a further 3 corners. But once again, he has been the unstoppable force in this class all weekend long. And Jacob Ashcroft hurtles his way towards the checkered flag and wins the Minimax pre-final ahead of Albert Friend, who has done a fantastic job to get to the position he is now, which puts him on the front row for tomorrow's final. Started 6th, finished in 2nd. Felipe Reyes started 3rd, finished in 3rd. Denny Babacek and Nikita Lubimov rounded out the top 5 places, with Cole Denham, Charles Kitely, Finley Lines, Rory Armstrong and Boris Verhaag rounding out the top 10. Jensen Chalk, Jeremy Roivers, Tom Reed, Oliver Majewski, Afonso Lopez, Shibazaki Mikoto, Sigurd Stubberup, Joao Pereira, Ethan Griffiths and Peru's Iago Lempen round out the top 20. Isaac Barker, Hugo Fuentes, Jack Freeman, Sam Mott, Max Gilman, Daniel Ferreira, Ryan Gandor from Canada, Min Jae Kim, Amelie Davey, Unto Olavi Lakonen, Nathan Kappen, Daniel Minto and Francisco Lopez are the last of the 33 out of 34 classified finishers. And on lap number 8, we unfortunately lost Kieran Stewart to a retirement. So we take a look back at the highlights from the Minimax pre-final. There's Jensen Chalk, the newly crowned Dubai O-Plate winner from earlier on this year. There's Jeremy Roivers, very much talking to people surrounding him, probably including his dad Martin. Jacob Ashcroft, the driver that has been unassailable, untouchable this weekend, but then the drivers would then make their way out of the dummy grid and head out onto the 1,580-metre circuit at karting Campillos. The revs would start to build, the Rotax Max Evo engines would roar into life as everyone was at full racing speed as the lights went out for the Minimax pre-final. Ashcroft once again got a textbook lightning fast start with being followed into turn number 1 by the 107 of Felipe Reyes. 3-4 abreast at one point going through turn number 1 for the opening time as Nikita Lubimov was trying to make some moves. So was Finley Lines, who nearly ended up a bit sideways through turn 5 at one point during the race. Multiple overtakes up and down the order, a customary part and parcel of Minimax competition, with even Boris Verhaag trying to get his elbows out on the 136 of Tom Reed. But once again, it's 4 races in a row for a very victorious Jacob Ashcroft, with the likes of Albert Friend and Felipe Reyes being his closest competitors, along with Denny Babacek and Nikita Lubimov as the